says not looking to others for guidance or for opinions. Right? It says not requiring or relying on others for livelihood.
这是咧3.3页下骹，恁有看到这个定义吼，你的定义。
What is Ma Ying-jeou government saying? We need China for our livelihood. We need to talk to China in a certain way. We need to look to China for guidance in how we deal with the international community. This is what we're talking about. That is a violation of the concept of independence, regardless of whether he signs a contract to unify with China. Taiwan's independence has already been violated, has been threatened and challenged in this way. So the concept of independence doesn't hinge solely on the global community's recognition of Taiwan. It hinges on the Taiwanese being strong and representing their own views. The Ma Ying-jeou government is sacrificing Taiwan's sovereignty and independence and dignity. So what do the people of Taiwan need to do in response? I'll shorten what I'm going to say a little bit about this confidence-building measures. But I think what I want to talk about a little bit has to do with this notion of representation. And the Taiwanese, the answer to Taiwan's problem, difficulty, lies at home here in Taiwan. Taiwan needs some strong measures to increase people's confidence in Taiwan's situation. By strengthening within, Taiwan will be able to better improve its democracy and to project its strength abroad. The mixed message being sent out to the international community makes it easy for the rest of the community to avoid what's really happening in Taiwan. They say, oh, your democratically elected president says you're Chinese. So we must recognize his opinion. He's your democratically elected president. There has to be an effort then to get around this and to consolidate identity in Taiwan. As we see, the survey data shows that people in Taiwan identify themselves as Taiwanese. But I think what we need for consolidation of identity is building greater confidence in what Taiwan is and what Taiwan can become. Consolidating identity doesn't mean we have to come to some very clear definition of what it means to be Taiwanese, because any such definition is exclusive and exclusionary. We want it to be an inclusive idea of what it means to be Taiwanese. But we must allow people to self-define as Taiwanese and to have confidence in their identity and in their country and be able to express that openly in the international community. Pride and confidence come from accomplishment, not from words, from working hard and achieving impressive goals. So we should talk about confidence-building measures. As the KMT government reaches across the strait, building what it says are confidence-building measures with the Chinese government, we really need to look at building confidence here at home as well. I think that these strong confidence-building measures are essential for Taiwan's ability to conduct stronger relations with the rest of the international community. So what do we mean by confidence-building measures? And we can look at some of these ideas. And how do we do this? Some of these measures involve strengthening Taiwan's economy and society through thoughtful and pragmatic policy. Others involve demanding more honest representation from government. And others are more philosophical, psychological, involve confidence in one's identity through a more honest and open exploration of Taiwan's history, culture, identity, and place in the world. There are some things that are beyond the control of the people of Taiwan, but there are some things that the people of Taiwan can control. We can't control what Beijing thinks. We can't control how the United States reacts exactly to Beijing's thoughts. We can't control the United Nations. But there are some things that people in Taiwan can control. And I think that there are some things that the people of Taiwan need to focus on, that these are their strengths already. And This came up in the conversation this morning as well. The idea of democracy. If we look at, the surveys from the students, the question about the importance of democracy and human rights for Taiwan's future, look at where the students fall in this. I mean, tremendously high numbers of students who place great emphasis on democracy and human rights. Taiwan is and has the potential to be even a stronger representative of democracy. Taiwan has to improve its domestic representation and to become a model of transparent democracy globally. Now, BK mentioned earlier the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy, which started to do some good work but has faltered a little bit under the Ma government. This is the kind of organization that Taiwan needs to promote. Human rights and social justice. Can you go back to the previous one? Yeah, human rights and social justice. One of the things that Taiwan had in previous years was being ranked as one of the most equitable countries in terms of income, right? That's going away. Income distribution is going away. That's something that should be worked on. Social justice. Taiwan has made great strides in social justice in terms of defending women's rights, in economic opportunity, or in health care, social welfare programs. Taiwan has done great things. I come to Taiwan from the United States, and I don't want to get sick, but I do, and I go to the doctor, and I think, gosh, they're so lucky in Taiwan to have this healthcare system compared to what we have in the United States. And Taiwan has that strength to promote itself. Economic opportunity, entrepreneurship, small and medium-sized enterprises, investment. Taiwan really needs to actively promote its indigenous economic progress. It does not need to focus solely on developing trade with China. This is a mistake. It's the story of putting all your eggs in one basket. One of my students this January, I had students here, said, that's not putting all your eggs in one basket, that's putting all your eggs in the alligator's mouth, right?
伊个就学生讲讲，咱甲中国做贸易即摆方式，毋是讲像是美国人讲，咱甲苏联人讲摕一个拿对，啊你拿若破去吼，若有可能破去，无若可能落落去，你个卵就破去。啊伊遐先甲讲，咱是甲咱迄鳄鱼啊吼，扣伊个喙内底，迄是阮破的。
So that, the economic opportunity, trust and ethics, indigenous rights. You know, Taiwan has a wonderful indigenous culture, multiple tribes. When I talk about indigenous rights, I don't only mean celebrating the beauty of indigenous culture in Taiwan, but promoting Taiwan as a model of indigenous rights, of how Taiwan has handled or can handle indigenous rights and taken a leadership role in the international community in terms of indigenous rights. The environment. This is a beautiful island, you know, and it's come a long way in terms of environmental problems. I think back in Taipei in the 1980s, early 1990s, and the air quality being so bad, things have come a long way. Taiwan has gone a long way in environmental cleanup, but Taiwan is the perfect place to take a leadership role in the global community in terms of environmental technology and environmental cleanup. Taiwan has the technology, has the know-how to do this, and has a situation at home where it needs to clean up. So Taiwan could become a leader in environmental technology and environmental cleanup across the globe. And then I talk about tourism, which is tied to the environment, of course. Beautiful island, beautiful people, great food. I have brought student groups here on several occasions. My students fall in love with Taiwan when they come. One of my students sitting behind me recently, she was talking to herself. And she said, at one point she said, my God, Taiwan is a beautiful island. She said, it's prettier than Hawaii, right? And so, but nobody knows about this, you know, I think.
最近有一个学生甲伊来台湾了讲，台湾实在是足水的一个所在，比夏威夷较水，但是世界真少人知。
And so Taiwan can promote tourism, environmental tourism, natural tourism, hiking, biking, beaches, mountains. It's got everything. And the people here are wonderful. And so Taiwan could have a more aggressive program of promoting tourism. Taiwan needs to put itself out there, strengthen itself, and make it a leader in all of these different things. This is confidence building measure. The people of Taiwan also need to explore and explain their own historical and contemporary uniqueness. Taiwan is not what Ma Ying-jeou says as a Chinese culture with Taiwanese characteristics, but it is a uniquely Taiwanese society. There is no other place like Taiwan in the entire world. And for that reason, the people of Taiwan can contribute to the global community in ways that no other society can. But first, the people of Taiwan need to promote that strength from within to then project it outward. As I said, pride comes from accomplishment. Pride comes from doing. And with every achievement, pride will grow. The movement can be based on sound policy, on public diplomacy. It has to involve communication within Taiwan and also out to the rest of the world. It is going to require everybody to get involved. And unfortunately, we can't count on the current government to do this. So again, I mentioned earlier this morning, this is going to take the work of citizens, of non-governmental organizations at the present time, or interaction with non-governmental organizations across the globe, to take the lead in promoting Taiwan's strength out there. I recommend this grassroots movement, developing stronger linkages with these non-governmental organizations, and not counting on the government to promote Taiwan identity or culture or power. If you can't count on your government to speak for you, to represent you, then you must represent yourselves. And this is what we currently have. So we have these different forms of representation again. The Ma Ying-jeou government is misrepresenting the attitudes and the identities of the Taiwanese people. The Taiwanese people have the opportunity to represent themselves more forcefully in the international community, but to do that, they need to strengthen at home, improve, and build upon the great accomplishments that Taiwan has and move forward from there. It's unacceptable to me that the people of Taiwan do not get appropriate respect in the international community. This is my second home. I get frustrated with this, that people don't pay enough attention to Taiwan. But it's even more acceptable that the current government, the government elected by the people of Taiwan, is contributing to the process of denigration of Taiwan's pride and Taiwan people interest.